The person I want to meet at tonight's vet chat is Tiina Toomet, a veterinary surgeon I know for many years and who is a well-known and outstanding personality, not only in Estonia, but also in the Eastern Baltic and actually in the whole European region. Tiina has been a veterinary surgeon for possibly around about 30 years by now. And she has not only been the president of the Estonian Small Animal Veterinary Association, she has also been the representative of Estonia at FECAVA, the Federation of European Companion Animal Veterinary Associations. Tiina has a clinic in Tallinn, but she's also very well known to pretty much everybody in Estonia because of her television programs and because of books that she's writing about her life as a veterinarian. Tiina has been the Vet of the Year in Estonia. She is a recipient of the Russian Veterinary Cross, and she's also the laureate of the Didier Noel Carlotti Award, which is honoring one of the most outstanding veterinarians in Europe. If Tiina is not working as a veterinary surgeon, she's usually, possibly not because of COVID at the moment, but she's traveling all over Europe and meeting colleagues and visiting clinics and just enjoying, well, the life which our profession provides, but also which is found in different countries in different cultures. So as you can see, Tiina is not only a very interesting and entertaining person, she's a very warm-hearted, emotional person, but somebody who can both laugh and you can also have a very deep conversation with. So the perfect person for me to have a vet chat. Tiina Toomet, welcome to FECAVA Vet Chat.
Hello, Wolfgang. Hello, veterinary family. Oh, Wolfgang, it was really heart-touching speech. Thank you.
No, but it's true. I mean, as I said, so I had the honor to visit you a couple of times or in Tallinn, and we always had lovely evenings together. And I mean, this vet chat will only last for 15 or 20 minutes, but I could talk to you for hours. And it's such a shame that because of COVID, we can't meet in person. But
yeah,
well, this is a little bit of an alternative. And it's always lovely to see you.
This is really sad because I had plans how we meet in Warsaw and how we are going to meet our old FECAVA gang, as Didier said. And now we have to talk only through the internet, so it's really sad.
Better times will come.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, Tiina, I thought that we could. I wanted to talk with you a little bit about companion animal practice in Estonia. Then the way companion animal practice has developed over the last 30 years, because I mean, you can still remember how the situation was nearly 30 years ago when Estonia regained its independence from the Soviet Union. And that obviously came along with a lot of changes in especially companion animal veterinary medicine. And I don't think that there's any other country in Europe that has made so dramatic steps forward when it comes to the care of small animals than Estonia. So I would like to talk with you a little bit about that, then about the veterinary profession in Estonia today, the impact COVID has had, And then I want to talk about Tiina Toomet, your plans and your ideas and what we can expect from you. Is that okay?
Okay, let's start from history, yes?
That's absolutely. If we go a little bit sort of down memory lane, I mean, okay, I wasn't around at the time. In Estonia, I wasn't around at that time. But, August 1991, Estonia became independent again.
Yes. Yeah.
And where were you as a vet, or what? How did the work as a companion animal veterinarian look like in 1991?
Yeah. No, companion animals, they were very not important subject in Soviet Union or Soviet time. So when I finished the university, it was in 1983. And then our study was 5 years. And during these 5 years, we had 20 hours about companion animals. So it means that when I finished the school, there was like nothing. I wanted to work as a small animal veterinarian, but then in Soviet Union there was like a planning system, and somebody somewhere in the high post planned that I have to work in the laboratory. So I worked in the laboratory with bacteria. And then in 1989, it was already more free to leave the country, to travel, to visit other countries. So I used the possibility and went to Finland and visited one veterinary clinic, and it was really like a fairy tale. It was like a different world. It seems to me that I have been like some kind of witch who had to treat the animals with help of moon and songs and drums and maybe some herbs, and they have everything, ultrasound and blood samples, and it was like, oh, is it possible? So it was really a shock, and for me it was like a shock that we never can reach in this level, because it seems to me that our basis is so weak. But life is full of surprises and I started to go different educational events in Finland, and Finnish colleagues helped me a lot. And not only me, I have a lot of colleagues who started on the same time to develop their skills about small animals. And now we are there when we are. So I don't know. We are at the same level with Finland, but I think that we are very close to be at the same level.
I remember that you were telling me stories about the first consultations in your kitchen.
Yeah, of course.
With your children sort of crawling underneath the kitchen table time. So how did you start with advertising? How did that work with the payment in the beginning?
And this time there was it was not necessary to advertise, because there was lack of veterinary surgeons who treated small animals. So there was only to have a phone number, and it was like a bush telephone that people started to talk. Oh, do you know you can have help there and there. And so in this point of view, it was very easy. I had nothing. I started my practice with stethoscope and otoscope, which was a gift from my Finnish colleague, and approximately nothing else. And it was very easy to start, because we were all in the same situation. Nobody has nothing. So anybody has nothing. So I think that it was time with a lot of work, lot of learning, lot of mistakes, but it was really very interesting time.
How did you get your supplies? I mean, for somebody who came from the what should I say, pampered middle class West sort of. We had wholesalers, drug companies, drug representatives. I mean, not that different from today. So if you need something, you just pick up the phone, you get it. I mean, that's
no.
case.
Because about equipment, my Finnish colleagues laughed. Now it's changed, but like 20 years ago, my clinic was like a museum of Finnish veterinary history, because everything what they didn't need, they brought to me. So I had a table from one clinic and otoscope from one clinic and ultrasound from other clinic. And then get medicines, it was just to carry from Finland. So if I'm thinking now that I traveled from Finland, from Helsinki to Tallinn, with Domitor or Polamivet or all these kind of drugs in my pockets, then it's really frightening. But in this time, it was like, you have to, what to do? Yeah. But then it changed quite quickly, because I started to do a little bit practice in 89, 90, and then I started my like clinic in 92, and then already it was possible to pay, for example, through the bank. They didn't deliver the medicines to Estonia, so I had to my assistants had traveled to Finland to pick up the medicines from different Finnish wholesalers, but then it was already somehow understandable, not so difficult. And then quite quickly we had already our own stock companies who provided medicines for us. But the beginning was interesting.
And then, I mean, payment, how did you do that? Because there was possibly no pay structure also, I would assume, I don't know, under the Soviet system, if veterinary services were rendered, sort of, they were rendered free of charge to party members? Or
no, there was a small payment, some kind of, but I don't remember. But then there was like a situation which usually is happening when one system is ending and another is beginning. So we had rubles and hard currency at the same time. So when I brought vaccines from Finland, then I took like a service tax in rubles, and the vaccine was paid in Finnish marks, because otherwise it wasn't possible to buy new ones. And then it somehow it worked. And another thing was that we started to do not immediately but quite soon complicated surgeries, and people they understood that they had to pay. It's not free of charge. On the other hand, I could lower the prices because I got really a lot of help from Finland. Now, for example, one help was this, that when I was in Finland in the clinic of my mentor in Kouvola, and when she had a surgery and she finished the surgery and she had suture material left you know, enough long piece, then I took it and I used it because it was better than nothing. So it was like it was. Nowadays if I'm talking, when I'm talking to assistants, because I'm giving lectures in our veterinary nurses assistant school, when I'm talking these things, then sometimes it seems to me, hello, how old are you? What you are talking, it's like somewhere very long time ago, but actually it was my youth.
So when did you have the first introduction to FECAVA? How did that come? I mean, I can see that the international sort of contacts were really important. Obviously, the connection to Finland with Estonia, there's also a cultural link, obviously. But I mean, it's now, if we, for example, go to BSAVA Congress, I mean, there are a lot of Estonian vets every year around, and they travel a lot. They do a lot CPD. But how did that all start off then with FECAVA and you?
It actually started from WCVA because there was WCVA Congress in Berlin in 93, I think it was, and somehow I was able to go there. I did some kind of cooperation with Wolfgang. We did a TV show about how to raise a puppy, and then they helped me to register and to go there to Berlin, and it was really fantastic. I loved it to be the part of the of the veterinary family and everything. And then I thought, oh, and how I can continue to go this kind of places. And of course, it was not the only reason, but there was already many vets who treated small animals, and we organized a veterinary association. And then already we knew that there are two, like umbrella association, like WCVA and FECAVA. And I was really sad that I wasn't able to visit FECAVA first Congress in Paris, which was in 94. But my daughter just was born in the same time, yeah. So it's
okay. You were excused on that one.
yeah. But our next Congress in Brussels in 96, I was there, and I met two guys from FECAVA desk, and one of them was Ray Butcher. And of course, if you are going to meet Ray Butcher, then you are lost. And then Ray organized me all the paperwork, what was essential to do to join to FECAVA. And we joined it was 95, and in 96 we already joined to FECAVA.
Let's talk a little bit about sort of veterinary medicine, companion animal veterinary medicine in Estonia today. How many companion animal vets are there in Estonia today, or how many members do you have in your organization? Do you have a rough idea?
Yeah, I think that we have like 1,500 members somewhere there. And some of those are not like actively working in small animal veterinary medicine, but then on the other hand, there are some who are not members. So I think that somewhere like 150, 200 vets, I think that we are having, yeah.
So as veterinary surgeons in Estonia, I mean, you have a vet school in Estonia, in Tartu. How is that with CPD? Is that then mainly done in Estonia, or are Estonian vets, I mean, I said already, they're traveling a lot. How is that with Finland and the neighboring countries? Is there a lot of exchange also with CPD events?
Yeah, in the beginning, of course, it was very much, because it was so easy to reach and our language is similar. So if there were lectures in Finnish, it was easier. If there was like an older generation he was not able to speak or understand English. Nowadays, no, I'm not thinking to this year, because this year everybody's at home. But nowadays, I think that Estonian vets are traveling around, not only to Finland, but everywhere a lot. And this was my like old joke when we were in different congresses, and there was Estonian group, like a 10 persons or 15 or something. And then I said, it's 10% of our association. And usually ask
Yeah,
from
that's
British
true.
or
Yeah.
from French colleagues that where is your 10%? So
Yeah.
it's Estonian vets like to visit different congresses. So we are very well known travelers. Yeah. Our association is doing our CPD, and actually this weekend we are having now our annual conference, but this is of course in the video conference as
Yeah.
in everywhere,
I mean,
which is
that's it. I think that the Estonians are probably one of the nations that will adapt most easily to this whole internet and online communication, because I mean, Estonia is so when it comes to adopting technical novelties, a digital generation. It's Estonia is probably one of the leading countries. I mean, I heard that your text declaration takes 10 minutes or something like that. It's all done online, always has been. You have, I think, set in law a right for internet access all over the country, I think.
I think it's a joke, but it's almost, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is sort of the online sort of life. It's just, I mean, if you want to see how it's done, I mean, you have to go to Estonia, I often found it.
I think there is two reasons. The first, that we are so small, everything is so much easier because if you are so small. And another thing that we started everything later. You know, in UK there is an old society, old traditions, everything have been, but we had in 90s, oh, we have to have a bank. Okay, and then of course these guys who developed this Estonian bank, very young guys, they didn't develop some kind of old-fashioned thing, but they looked to the future. I think it was like our like a bad side and good side, because bad side that we didn't have experience and traditions, and another thing that we had like a white sheet, nothing from the past, and it was possible to start and to do on this way, which was in this time like a better way. So yeah, I think that this can be explanation why it works so well.
Yeah. How is that now in Estonia with pet insurance? Do a lot of your clients, do you have pet insurance? Do a lot of your clients have their pets
No,
insured?
it's not so good. It's not so good as in Finland or Sweden, and I think that in UK this is quite
Yes.
well known too. Or
I mean,
yeah, but
when I worked last summer in Sweden, I would say that possibly 80 or 90% of especially the dog owners, were insured. You basically didn't step out of the house with your dog unless your dog was insured, health insured, that is.
In Estonia,
Finland,
it's not so good.
No.
We have, I think that nowadays we have only one company who is providing this service. And when there is no competition, then of course it is not the best one. So I think that there is things what they have to change.
Yeah. How is that with corporates? Do you have already sort of, we saw especially in Scandinavia, but also in the UK and in the Netherlands, and now also slowly in the German-speaking countries, there's a larger or growing influence of corporate practices. Is that the same in Estonia?
We have two branches now, but they haven't, it's my personal opinion, they haven't influenced like at the market so much until now. Let's see what will happen. But I have followed what has happened in Finland, because I know so many different persons there and clinics, and it's quite interesting. There is, of course, a good and bad things, and I think that in the future we're going to have both. big change and small clinics too. So I
You
think
think
that,
there's a market for both, really, and a
yeah,
place for both?
yeah, it seems to me that it is possible. Yeah. Mhm.
COVID-19, unfortunately, sort of how has that impacted our colleagues in Estonia? Are you has there been a huge drop in income or actually more work? I mean, we hear so many different things from different European countries, partially because people now recognize sort of how important it is, especially during lockdown, to have a dog or a cat in the house, so what difference it makes. So because of that, I mean, we find, for example, in the UK, after 2-3 very quiet months, we're super busy at the moment. So how is the situation in Estonia?
We haven't had like super quiet months at all. So the April was a little bit more quiet, but it was mostly because in my clinic I have many colleagues who have children in the who are in the school age, and as the schools were closed, they had to learn with the children at home, and it was so difficult. So that they asked me that maybe they can have their holidays in this time, not in summer, but in April, because they are not able to work all day in the clinic and then to go home and work and study with children. So it seems to me that in April it was mostly because our that we had less work, not so much that people didn't come, but because we couldn't provide our services. But of course there was less because of course if you are ill, you are not coming to visit the veterinarian, you are trying to do it later, and then we try to send as much as possible food and even some medicines. I think that it's not legal, but I thought that if there is somebody who is my client and I know that the dog needs like a cephalosporin eardrops and the owner is not able to come to the clinics, and hello, why I cannot send this? So it's April was different, and then May already like normal, and as you said, in summer so much work that it's like I don't know, and it's a little bit frightening because I think that it's true that people, when they realize that they are at home, that they have time, that oh, now it's good time to get a new pet, that if there still are coming the depression, economical depression, are they able to take care of these animals? So it's even in Finland they are saying that it was all like all puppies have sold because people they wanted to have new puppies, new kittens. Are they still there after 1 year? This is we don't know. Yeah. We worked all the time. We had some special rules. We send letters to owners and ask to write down all the anamnesis as long as possible, not to speak in the examination room, not to stay there together. So we had a lot of information before, and then we asked them that they are coming alone. No, sometimes it's not possible, but usually not to whole family. We tried to make appointments so that they were not together in the waiting room. Luckily we have big windows, so they couldn't see that is somebody there, somebody not. So it wasn't so difficult. And now I don't know. It's not good to say, but nowadays in Estonia it seems that there is nothing. It's like okay, we knew that the COVID is somewhere around, and we have some spots somewhere, but actually the life is quite normal.
Tiina, let's talk a little bit more about you yourself. Do you have any new projects, anything that you are planning? Because normally, sort of when I speak to you, you're working on a new book, on a new television program. You're working on, I don't know, you're planning to travel again. Obviously, traveling is probably not so.
I thought next week I'm going to travel around Estonia because I'm not able to stay in, so I had to go somewhere. I wrote last year 2 books, and one we were able. It was with my colleague. Her name is Triin Kass. Kass is a cat in Estonia. And it was about cats. The book was about cats, and we launched it in the December, so it was possible to make really like a event. But the second book about the pets feeding, I had to introduce, like we're talking with you today via internet. So it was an introduction through the internet, and I have done some podcasts recently. In the
Tiina Toomet is going online. Yeah.
And it was nice. I did it with my different colleagues, and it's called Veterinarian in Pocket. And it was nice. I like to do it, and there is plans for another book, which is we are talking with the editor that maybe I will start to write it for next year. But yeah, I miss you. I miss my colleagues around the Europe, and I want to go somewhere.
Well, that's, I mean, but you see, that gives everybody a little bit of an idea how it is when we meet within sort of the FECAVA family. That's so nice, sort of suddenly sort of sitting next to a colleague from the Baltic, for example, or then we sit next to a colleague from Greece or from Spain. And yes, there are certain differences in our life, but there are also so many things that are so much alike. And we can all learn from each other, and I mean, it is always so inspiring also to hear how colleagues deal in different parts of Europe and of the world, sort of with day-to-day problems that we might encounter in our own practice. Tiina, I brought you something along that you might recognize. Have a look. Can you remember this?
This is my first.
That's your first book, and I even got a signed copy, so that's pretty good. Then there we go. I also have this one here. Yes, so I seems to be next to it. And what I noticed, if you go to your bookshelf and you have and if you have organized your books by the alphabet, you know who you are next to. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So there we go, Leo Tolstoy. So Tiina Toomet. There you go. So you are in good company, or I would actually say, knowing you, I mean, I never met him, but I would say he's in very good company with you next to him. So you would have had a lot of fun with another, I'm pretty sure.
As you see how bad salesman or saleswoman I am. When we started this conversation, then I thought that why I don't have my books. I can show you my books here. No, I don't have my books here in the summer house. They are in the town.
You don't need them. You can rely on me. Tiina, it was really lovely talking to you, and thank you very much for meeting us at the FECAVA Vet Chat. Again, everybody who is seeing this Vet Chat, if you want to leave comments, if you have questions, or if you have suggestions how we should make things, differently in the future, then by all means email us, and we are really looking forward to have that. Our email address is vetchat@fecava.org.